Yo, in this video I will be explaining everything you need to know to play Archemara. I will be going over all the basic controls and some of the most important things to know when starting out. I will not go over anything complex like lineages, variants and anything related to building a good weapon. I will go over investment points and what each weapon stat means, but I'll get into that later. Before we get started, I want to let you know that if you are here for a specific piece of information, you should use the chapters in the video description, if I bothered to add them. Now, let's get started. I also would like to let you know that everything I'm going to be showing you can be found when reading these signs that are at the tutorial area. You can also find these guides if you press tab to open the index menu and go to this icon and press guides. It has basically all of the necessary information in here if you prefer to read it. To pull out your weapon, you are going to want to press the button X. As you can see, it pulls out the weapon. When sprinting, which you do by pressing shift and holding out a weapon, you consume stamina, which will be the yellow bar in the top left of my screen right now. If you unequip your weapon and start sprinting, it will not consume any stamina. Next up is going to be very basic combat. So every weapon has multiple movesets. When I press M1, it does an attack. When I press shift M1, it does a different attack. And when I press control M1, it does another attack. But not only that, when I press multiple buttons or one button consecutively, it actually does like different combos. So if I press 1 and then M1 again, it does that attack. And if I do it 3 times, it does this. Some combos only have 2, some only have 3 attacks, and you can mix them up. So this is the shift attack. So if I do control and then shift, it actually does that if I wait. If I do it immediately after it, it will do the second part of the shift chain. So if I do control M1 and then shift M1 immediately, it does the second attack of the shift chain. This is the shift chain, shift M1 1, shift M1 2. Now to block or parry in this game, you have to press the right mouse button. As you can see, I'm blocking right now. Holding block does consume stamina, as you can see in the top left. And when enemies hit you, it will take additional stamina. However, if you parry, it actually gives you some stamina back. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like when I block first. It will take some extra stamina. He didn't hit me there. There we go, that took extra stamina. But if I parry him now, which I can do if these guys stop stunning it, it gives me back some stamina. Not only that, it makes the enemy take a lot of poise damage, which can sometimes stun them. If you press down on your scroll wheel, your middle mouse button, you will actually lock onto an enemy and you'll be able to see its HP and the yellow bar its stamina. And you'll see that when I parry it, it will be completely depleted. Another benefit of parrying is that you will get 2.5 seconds of reduced damage. So if I parry an attack and then he attacks me again, it'll do very little damage. If I run out of stamina and he hits me, I will get guard broken, just like the enemies get guard broken, and I will be stunned for a second. Another important thing to know is how you heal yourself. The button is F to take the flasks. You can see in the bottom left how many flasks I have. You will always start out with 8, you can't have more than that. There, so if I press F, it heals me. Next up is how to start a quest, which you do on these quest boards around this fountain in the lobby. You just hold E on them and you can select a quest here. You can change your weapon by pressing tab to open the index menu, going to the second icon and then pressing loadout. In here you can create multiple loadouts. By pressing this plus button, you will create a new one. You can rename it by pressing this button right here. For this tutorial, I'll call it cheese, because why not? Then if you press on it, you will select that loadout. By pressing this button, you can change what weapon class you are using. There is a greatsword and dagger, great hammer, no dachi, and polearm. I will be going with greatsword and dagger, because this one is a little bit more complex than the other ones, because it actually has 2 different weapons to equip. This one will be the greatsword. If you have another weapon here, which I don't because I don't use greatsword, you can press the weapon and then press equip right here to equip it for this loadout. For the dagger, it's quite the same. just press the button, then go to the dagger, press on it and press equip. To create and modify a weapon, you will have to go to the blacksmith, which is right here, to the left of the fountain. When you interact with the blacksmith, it will open this menu. There's modify and create. If you go to create, you will be showed all of the blueprints that you currently own, and you will be able to click on one of them and then press create to create it for the price that is listed right here. If you press modify, it will show you a list of all of the weapons that you have already created. When you select a specific weapon, indicated by the green edges, you will be able to press modify. To put on a glyph on a weapon, you will have to click on the glyph and then click on the position where you want it. To upgrade a glyph, you will have to press right click on the glyph and then press this arrow to upgrade it. You can also press on appearance to change the appearance of your weapon. You'll just have to press one of these buttons right here and then just change the material. You cannot change the color individually as of right now, but there are a decent amount of options to make a weapon that you will like. Behind the blacksmith are some training dummies in case you want to practice doing some combos or what your damage is. Over here, to the right of the fountain, you will have a blue crystal, which is where you will spend your investment points on stats. I will briefly cover what each stat does and what I recommend investing into when you're a low level. Vitality increases your HP, as shown here. Regen increases your health regen per second. I personally do not recommend this stat at all, it is kinda shit. Regen also does not affect the amount that your flask heals you by. Stamina increases your stamina bar. I definitely recommend getting this one early game, it is very important. Stride increases your walk speed. Strength increases your outgoing damage. If your weapon deals 800 damage exactly, getting max strength will get you to 140% damage. So you will be doing 40% of 800 damage on top of each attack. Dexterity increases your attack speed. Strike guard or attack guard decreases the amount of damage you take when you are hit by an enemy during one of your attack animations. The stats I most recommend investing into when you are just beginning would be some vitality, as it will make it so you will die less quickly when you get hit. Stamina, so you can keep attacking for longer and run for longer while having a weapon equipped. Block more, and everything else. Stamina is just pretty necessary early game. Once you have a pretty decent amount of vitality and stamina, it would be worth investing more into strength, because dealing damage also makes it so that enemies get staggered more often, and also you kill them quicker and you can play the game quicker and it's more fun. But definitely invest mostly in stamina and vitality, that will help you survive more. Otherwise, invest some in strike guard. If you are playing like on very high levels with higher level friends, forget about getting strength, you won't be doing any damage, just invest only into vitality and strike guard and stamina so that you won't die as often. Other than that, when you are a max level, I would recommend dexterity over stride and regen. But going with a decent amount of stride is definitely also viable. I generally recommend getting max vitality, max stamina, max strength and max strike guard when you are a high level. Those are the most important stats. Over here, you simply sell your BPs and materials. I generally do not recommend you sell resources. You're probably gonna need them, especially if you're gonna be trying different builds. Selling blueprints, if you have like a weapon you are already comfortable using, you probably don't really need any of the other blueprints. But if you don't have a specific reason you want the money, you should probably not sell your blueprints either. This right here is the BP shop. Every 30 minutes of an hour, so not every 30 minutes of a server existing, it will refresh. So XX30, XX00 of every hour. Over here is a resource shop. It just sells you random resources. I generally do not recommend buying from here, as it is pretty overpriced. But if you only need like a few materials and they happen to be in the shop, then you might as well for a quick upgrade before going to your next dungeon. This is the smelting station. There's quite a few things you can do here. There's melting resources, which is pretty important. 2 of a lower grade resource make 1 of a higher grade resource. So 2 crude sorrowstone makes 1 refined sorrowstone. Dismantling glyphs, I do not really see the point in this, because all it does is just give you a sigil stone, and Trust me, soon enough you'll have plenty of sigil stones, but if you really badly want to upgrade a glyph early game and you do not have the sigil stones, you might as well dismantle a few glyphs you know you're not gonna use. Dismantling a weapon, I also generally do not recommend. If you have upgraded a weapon a lot, which was most likely very expensive, you will get a fraction of that of those resources back. But generally I do not recommend it, because this is a maxed out weapon. It gives very bad resources. So you might as well keep the weapon in case you have a use case for it at some point. I will be going over the index menu real quick, because there are quite a few functions in there that might be useful to you. If you go to the second icon, of course you have the loadout, which I showed you earlier. There's profile, which will show you all of the stats that you have gathered from playing the game. And when you go to the third icon for multiplayer, there's a party button right here, which you can use to invite people to your party, and also disable party invites and change the privacy status, which I don't think does anything right now. You can kick members from your party, as well as leave the party right here. Party ID doesn't do anything as of right now. In the fourth icon you can find settings, credits and player stuck. Pressing player stuck will respawn you at the nearest respawn point that you have actually gone past. Pressing settings will open the settings menu. There are settings like video, audio, lighting and camera. Decreasing some of these settings can help massively with performance. In the general tab you have your inventory, which shows you a lot of stuff. There is a little bit of a UI bug going on here, but that should probably get fixed at some point. You can see all of your glyphs, your weapons, your materials, basically everything you have. Pressing the map button will open up a map of the dungeon you're in. This can help with navigating if you are not sure of where you are. Pressing quest info will open up a tab with the level of the floor you're on, the enemy presence, dungeon length and a lot of other things. You can also find the return to hub button in the general tab if you want to quickly go back to Archemara. Alright, if any of your teammates get downed, you can go to them and then hold E to revive them. Sometimes you just want to hold right mouse button to block, or just bury the enemies and then you will get them picked up. On the left, right here, you can see that you have party lives. If everybody in your party dies, you will lose a party life. So my friend right here died, and now if I die as well, then we will both get respawned and lose a party life. Once you run out of party lives, you will automatically fail the mission and get sent back to the lobby. You can see that my friend, Dokonexia, or well, you can't really see it because their HP is full, is actually dead right now. They're not anywhere near me. But as soon as I enter the spawn elevator that we loaded into, they will respawn. You can also respawn your teammates in a green room like this with the green particles. If you are running low or out of heals, you can go to one of these fountains to replenish them. When killing enemies, they will drop these crystals, which will both give you materials or, sometimes if you're lucky, a blueprint. So if I run through all of these, you'll see I will be gaining materials. The color of the crystal reflects the rarity of the item you will be getting. Weapons have a significantly smaller chance of dropping, especially rare ones. I will show you a list of drop chances per rarity. You can pause if you would like to view it for a little bit longer. Red orbs may also drop from killing enemies, and they will automatically gravitate towards you. There are two main ways of knowing what kind of resources will be dropping on the quest you're playing. You can either open your index menu and then open quest info, and it'll be shown right here. Alternatively, you can see what materials will be dropping on the quest you play when you are selecting the quest. As you can see on the right, it says drop search right here. If you are looking for a specific tier of a resource, you can go to your inventory, resources, and then when hovering over it, you can see what floors it is most common to drop on. So, if I want superb hollow hardcores, it is best I grind on the quests between 16 and 20 36 and 40, 56 and 60, and 76 and 80. If I want refined hollow hardcores, it would be best I grind on 6 to 10, 26 to 30, 46 to 50, and 66 to 70. You can check what floor is best for each material yourself. Now I will be explaining what each stat on a weapon does. This might be a little bit difficult to understand. Damage, obviously, is just your damage. However, take note that some attacks have different damage modifiers. A control attack may do less or more damage than a normal M1 would. Similarly, a shift attack might do more damage. Poise damage is the damage you will be applying to an enemy's stamina. Attack speed has to do with how fast your attack swings. Going lower means it's slower, and going higher means it's faster. Some attacks start breaking after you get too much attack speed, and some attacks will be deadly when used with very low attack speeds, because enemies will have way too much time to hit you. So be careful with this stat. Your crit chance will indicate how often your attacks will be a critical attack. If a modifier states, it will add, for example, plus 10% crit chance. It will add 10% of what your crit chance currently is. In this scenario, it would add 1.5% crit chance, making my crit chance 16.5%. It will not add a flat 10% on top of your crit chance. If it did, after applying the modifier, your crit chance would become 25%. Critical multiplier indicates how much your outgoing damage will be multiplied with when it is a crit. Having more than 100% crit chance gives you the chance of landing a double crit. A double crit would once again double your outgoing damage. The most you can get is a triple crit, which will be read like this. It will once again double your outgoing damage. Follow through is a little bit of a difficult stat to explain, but to put it simply, the more enemies you hit, the more damage you will do. Let's say, for example, your follow through is 150% and your weapons damage is 100 exactly. Hitting the first enemy will do 100 damage, but if that same hit hits a second enemy, it will take 50% of 100 damage extra, so 150 damage. If the attack hits 3 enemies, it will deal another 50% of the 100 damage on top of that, so it will become 200. This has no limit, and is therefore currently the meta stat for playing on higher floors. I will try and demonstrate follow through. Keep in mind, this weapon's follow through is 70%. If I hit one enemy, he will take 99 damage. If I hit a second enemy, I should do 30% damage less, because I have less than 100 follow through. As you could see, I hit 3 enemies there and each one took less damage than the previous one. The difference of rarity on a weapon is 10% of a weapon's base damage. This weapon's damage is 78. It has no variant and no lineage. If this was an uncommon weapon, it would have 10% of 78 added on top of that. If it was a remarkable weapon, it would have another 10% of 78 added on top of that. Not of what the new value would be if it was an uncommon. These damage buffs are applied before any lineage or variant buffs. The difference in damage caused by rarity is noticeable, but nowhere near as important as lineage or variant bonuses. So if you get a legendary weapon early game, it does not immediately mean it is your best weapon. Also, keep in mind that higher rarity weapons cost significantly more resources to upgrade, which you will certainly struggle with in the early game. That was everything I could think of. If there's anything else you would like to know, just let me know and I might make a video on it. There are a lot of other things like lineages and variants and weapon movesets that I could probably make videos about. So if there's any interest in that, then I will make an attempt. For now, thank you for watching. I hope it helped and have a nice day.